Hello and welcome to another episode of Ashley Haden's Political Breakdown. I'm in a very bad mood today, so this may not be a delightful one, but we'll see what happens. If you do not know about the show is about the week's news where I talk to my guests, who tend to be a mixture of people I respect and people who are available. This week my guests are...
William Lee.
And...
Will Preston.
Fantastic. Right, who's got a story to start with?
I'll start. Milo Yiannopoulos is broke. Apparently he doesn't have enough money to pay the bills and to eat.
I actually want to say thank you for starting with a good story. You know? Normally we always start with fucking Brexit. It's nice to start with an upbeat story.
Yeah, is it Schadenfreude?
Yep.
It is Schadenfreude, but I mean, is it allowed? It is allowed, isn't it? The guy's an absolute tosser.
Yeah.
I think that's just desserts, isn't it?
Is it a suggestion that no platforming works?
Interesting.
Well,
he got a platform at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he does,
He does.
because he's on Telegram.
Yeah, but the reason that he's skint now is because he's not getting all the work that he was. That's why it's happening.
Yeah, because
he's not as important as he once was, because he's not everywhere, so everyone's not seeing him every 4 seconds, making his opinion seem like it's worth something. If you hide these people and they don't get into the public eye every 2 fucking seconds, then everyone forgets about them. They're not a big deal anymore. They're not important. They're not the fucking goose-stepping march of the fascists that they want to be. They lose their money. They lose their endorsements. They lose everyone who's willing to give them money because they're not doing anything of relevance. They're not pushing a story forward. They get skint and broke.
So what do you say? What's your view though? Is that when people say, well, isn't the monetization a form of soft censorship?
No, it's not. You work, get money, fine and dandy. If you're using YouTube or something to make money, go fuck yourself, mate. Simple as that. Absolutely go fuck yourself. If that's the way, you there with your little fucking patron offering nothing except your fucking opinion like this. Like if I'm starting to monetize this, are you sure, mate? I will do, hopefully, one day. And then I look forward to having to defend that fucking awful fucking view. Going along, oh no, yeah, but I'm different because I'm not a fascist pushing up fucking stupid pissing opinions every 4 fucking seconds.
You should get e-cigarette sponsorship, since you got one there right there.
Until they get fucking banned. That's it. I mean, that's the big thing over in America, isn't it? They're looking to ban e-cigarettes. But let's keep on to the no platforming and Milo is whatever his fucking surname is.
Yeah. Is it Yiannopoulos?
Fuck knows. I don't care.
It's a very, very Greek name.
Nero. Just call him Nero. Everyone knows
he's English.
Nero anyway.
He's English?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's English. Yeah, he is. He works for Breitbart. Once upon a time, he was one of the tech.
He was one of the editors.
Yeah, tech editor of Breitbart. Decided that I can do better than going down that pile of filth, and then becomes a not freestyler or freelancer. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, because he just does freelance bigotry.
Yeah.
Was this
exactly.
at the same?
Industry that you can work.
Was this the same time that Steve Bannon was
yes.
heading up it? Okay.
He basically, from what I remember, is that he came off as we can argue he coattailed Gamergates, because one of the things about this whole alt-right trend kind of all started off the back of Gamergate. Because there was just a genuine backlash of the left identity politics, especially with feminism, how it perverted popular content and that sort of things, like gaming. Because
speaking as a gamer is a massive shame, because it's we're trying to make ourselves look better, but somehow Gamergate made us look even more like incels, and it's really, really annoying.
Yeah, and it's also annoying that a lot of people that are that started off with Gamergate, for example Sargon or Carl Benjamin, let's call him by his real name, because he wants to become a
level
politician.
72 dickhead elf.
Yeah, because
Sargon.
Yeah, Carl Benjamin now, because he wants to become a politician, so you need to treat him not as a internet guy that spout off stuff, because he actually wants real power. So
Mate, if he wants real power, he would go with UKIP, would he? That's not how you get real power. That's how you just stay in the papers. I'm looking forward to the time where he gets put onto fucking Newsnight or Question Time or everything else.
But my opinion is that those guys that started off initially on Gamergating, on commentary on gamer games and the whole culture around it, they don't talk about video games anymore now, do they?
No, they don't.
It's not exactly like, we're still going on about how Electronic Arts is like, hiring female script writers and then having like a very female bias and replacing every gender role with a female.
I mean, is that what happened in gaming? Because I must have missed that. I mean, I don't game. I occasionally play Football Manager when I'm in the mind to not let it consume my entire life. But apart from that, I don't play video games. I don't own a console. Don't do anything like that. I mean, some of it seems like fun. The rest of it just seems like you're finding another way to waste your fucking life.
It is a bit of that. It is a bit of a really good mix of that. But the whole Gamergate culture is there is this alt-righty sort of like, we don't like feminism, incel culture in gaming.
It's not alt-right, by the way. I'm sitting out here. We're not saying alt-right. I'm not on this. We're not allowing them to change to make their own fucking narrative. Far right, absolutely fine.
Okay.
Absolutely fine. They're the far right. They're not the alt-right. The alternative to right is either wrong or left.
It's like when Megadeth called themselves speed metal. No, mate, you're metal.
Yeah, you can't. We're not allowing them, because this is what annoys me, because we're still at a point in society where you've got now paedophiles are trying to rebrand themselves.
I knew it.
They're able to do this because we've allowed the far right to rebrand themselves. Oh, we're the alt-right. No, you're not. You're the far right, mate. That's what you are. You're the fucking far right. You're scum. You may not be Nazis, but that's only because you do not have the fucking dress sense or the organisation. You don't have a fucking leader. You are the far right, though. I'm not none of this fucking alt right, no alt centre, no alt left, no alt. If it's alternative, we're talking about stupid fucking medicine, and that's it. Or an alternative route to get somewhere. I'm not having fucking alt at the front of every pissing word now.
I mean,
Fuck me, it annoys me.
I mean, you do have to give credits to, like, they are incorporating diversity as part of the right.
Where?
Milo himself, like,
he's gay.
He's gay, and he's always been banging on about him not loving black cock. It's not something that.
Oh God, he can't be a racist then because he sucked black cock.
No,
Are you fucking?
He is.
Do you hear yourself?
He is a racist, but in a classical sort of right model, if you think about it from that sense, from the 1930s, that style of, like, nationalist
classical
right.
racist, nice.
Yeah. It's different. It is different.
It's not different. He's the same shit. Stop trying to make these people seem like they're fucking intelligent, subverting fucking racism. They're not. They're the same tedious wank that have always fucking been there. They're not impressive. They're not intelligent. They're not doing a really smart thing. They're just fucking cunts.
I'm just saying that they are actually observing diversity.
How? Show me an example. What, he's gay? That's your idea. You got one gay man that they've put up in things. See, we're fine with fags. We've got one here. That's your fucking argument. Is so you're talking about one person and claiming diversity.
Look, it's not my.
It's like me saying. This show's immensely diverse. You know how many Chinese Australians we've had on? You, but that is one. That is one. I mean, that's so diverse. I can't get more diverse. That's not fucking diversity. That's just, I know you.
That's true.
It.
That is true. This is like Ashley Haden.
I'm not fucking lining them up around the fucking corner, am I? Fuck's sake. Told you I weren't in a fucking good mood at the start of this.
I know.
We haven't even gone on the Brexit
yet. We've only just started talking about Gamergate.
Because we've got another thing with regards to all of these YouTube knobheads. Is this PewDiePie fuck nut. Whatever the hell this is. I mean, just...
How does he get followers? I've watched his show. I like watching Twitches. I do Twitches myself sometimes. I do what he does. But I watch
What is a Twitch?
Oh, basically, you're playing a video game live and you stream it, and people watch you, and you do reactions to the game live. I've done that before. I've done it in VR as well. And it's like, I watch PewDiePie, and he's the most insufferable person I've ever seen.
I mean, I remember doing that with, like, friends. Like, you'd have friends, you'd both go and play a computer game. It's like a one player, so you watch them.
Yeah.
So it's that, but they're just not your friends.
Yeah, except they're anonymous, and they can comment and they can subscribe.
Well, here's the thing. Like, my girlfriend is actually a Twitch streamer herself. So, like, you know, I watch her stream, and she plays The Sims. So I don't know. Are you familiar with The Sims?
Yeah, I'm 31. I do know what The Sims are.
Well, I don't know what my fan base or your fan base is, what they can relate to. So we're gonna establish that. So
I know the fucking Sims.
So
mate.
essentially, how I view Twitch streaming is like, you know, daytime radio, like drive time radio, that sort of things. Like, you know, you got a DJ. Basically, you know, don't mind me saying, the DJ job is basically, you know, play music, play songs, whatever on the track list half the time, and fill out the rest of the time with talking shit.
Yeah.
And it's a skill. Talking shit is a skill. Like, you know, because you're just like, The reality of being a radio DJ is basically sitting in a room talking to yourself, making things interesting for 15 minutes when there's nothing but your own voice to go with. Like, because you have to pretend to talk to people, and you know, but no one's responding back. That's a skill.
Because you got to be
have a good mental illness.
It's all about your personality. If you're good at talking, if you're likable, if you're approachable, if you're harmless as well. You know, this is nice. This is nice to watch. I can sit and watch this. I quite like him.
That's why in a classical radio program you have like phone-ins and that sort of thing, like LBC with Joe O'Brien. Like, you know, after he had gone through a rant, like, you know, he got to have the provincial races line up and phone in and talk to him, because, you know, an hour of just there sitting at your own voice and just sprouting shit, you go mental.
Yeah,
you go absolutely mental.
Look
at
yourself,
you.
I'm fine.
You go mental. So, like, you know, Twitch is kind of similar to that. Like, you know, instead of people phoning into a switchboard, they put on your chat, and then, you know, and then just basically, and then you have that sort of banter, you know, whatever banter you decide to have with your stream, and then
I have to ban banter as well.
Okay.
Fucking hate that word.
What happened with that word? It came back 10 years ago, and it got bastardised.
It was always bastardised. Fucking, he's got so much banter. No, he's a knobhead, mate. Either you're fun to talk to, or you got banter. It's the same as when you say to someone, he's a character. That's the nicest way you can possibly call someone a cunt.
I've never met a character who's genuinely likeable.
Yeah.
No, you won't do.
No.
Because it's the only thing you can say about someone that's fine. He's a character.
So you were saying PewDiePie?
Yeah, PewDiePie. He's withdrawn a $50,000 pledge to an anti-hate group, and it was the Anti-Defamation League, which fights anti-Semitism. The reason that he withdrew it is because his fans started coming up with conspiracies and saying how he was pressed into giving this donation. He was forced into doing this donation. I assume by the Jews, which is where it's always heading.
Because like, you know, the counter narrative, some of guys on the internet, I guess, it's like they're saying that the Anti-Defamation League is technically considered as a hate group. So in some people's perspective.
So what's the Anti-Defamation League? In a sense, it's basic. What is it? It's an anti-Semitism group.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anti-fascist, anti-Semitism, anti-discrimination.
Yeah.
But
how do you twist that into a hate group?
Because on the internet world,
Bizarro world.
Yeah, Bizarro world, people make connections saying that, well, you are basically anti-free speech.
I mean, do they make connections? Because I don't think you can, it's not like a dot to dot when you only got one dot and the other dot's a Jew, and just going, there you go. Because that's all they're doing. It's another one, like you see the meme of the conspiracy, and it's got all these things everywhere and a big board and everything's attached. It's not this. It's just like one little piece of paper and just going anything Jew, and that's it. This is it. If you're going to be a conspiracy theorist, have some fun with it. You can do anything you like as long as you're a bit of enjoyment. I hate the boringness of it all. Just so obvious. So what's this? It's a conspiracy. Oh, God, who do you think's doing a conspiracy? Oh, here we go, the fucking Jews. Come on. Think different. Have some fun. What are the Hare Krishnas up to? That's what I want to know. This is where we should be looking at. If you want to be a conspiracy theorist, say, well, you know, of course, that Hare Krishnas own all of the glucose.
Okay.
Like, this is the type of shit that's enjoyable. The rest of it's just boring as fuck. The Jews run all of the money. Why are they being killed all of the time? And this is the problem, especially when you get into things like anti-Semitism, because everyone goes, you can't even, you can't talk about Israel anymore, can you? Because it's anti-Semitic. Like, oh no, if you talk about the Israeli government, like, I'll say Netanyahu's a cunt until the cows come home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But he's a cunt because of him, not because of his fucking religion. It's because he wants to kill as many Palestinians as possible, I assume, to try to maintain an erection. Can't think of any other reason. Like, Netanyahu is a type of man who is doing deals with the far right in Israel. And there are far right Jews. There are awful Jews. But that's just because they're awful people, not because they're Jewish. Their religion doesn't make them bad. It's like, if you're Christian, doesn't make you a paedophile. You know, if you're Muslim, doesn't make you a terrorist.
But I think in that context, though, that actually start mixing in geopolitics. Like, all of this stuff that we talk about has no geopolitics context to it. Like, don't mind me saying, like, I don't pretend to know a lot in depth about Middle Eastern politics and things like that, but there's also a narrative going on, like Erdogan in Turkey, for example, peddle like a, basically like a Western Jewish conspiracy to suit his political needs.
Oh, that's good. So it's an easy enemy, isn't it?
Yeah. So don't mind me saying, I honestly don't think those people actually that tied into their ideology themselves. They are just there to use it because it suits them.
I don't think for a single moment that be fucking Muslim, Christian, Jew, Sikh, anything you like, the truly bad people in those religions do not give a single fuck about that religion. They don't care about that religion at all.
Yeah, I mean,
you see, like fundamental Christians, they're not staying away from shellfish.
Depends on which sect, though. Depends which sect, which area of Christianity is the shellfish thing about? Is it
all of it. That's in the Bible. Yeah, There's more references to not eating shellfish than there is to not being gay. It's part of the Bible. It's the same like wearing fucking. You shouldn't wear or you can't wear blended materials. Yeah. So they shouldn't be wearing jeans. This is it. Like all religions are just there to be fucking. They're like a buffet of just picking exactly what you want to get your perfect fucking way to get through a day.
It's like just read the first chapter and then leave the rest of the book alone. And just say,
just going. I love the bit. I love the bit about me going to heaven, but I'm going to ignore the bit about not being able to fucking fantasize over me daughter or steal me neighbour's ox.
Well, the thing is with the Bible, just so I won't go into too much, it's like the context of everything that was written is written way back then. The church should just like update it for the 21st century.
But
then you'd need God, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you need Christ to actually come back to life and actually rewrite the damn thing. Though.
Get my wig, we're going to the Vatican.
I mean, even though if you actually look at the New Testament, it's not actually Christ that actually written the damn thing. It was his disciples. Just decided to write shit. And then it's like, well, is that actually the word of God? You just hear this guy named Jesus. So
the original propagandists.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take that for all fucking religious books because they're not literally written by the deity. No. They're not there going, right, well, and I say this, signed God. Or Allah or Yahweh. It's just other people go. It's like fucking Dominic Cummings writing the manifesto for Boris Johnson, going, yeah, but I mean, it's not fucking Boris is actually writing it. He doesn't know anything about it. He's just fucking there going, yeah, this is my book.
Soon his cabinet will be less than 12 disciples.
12 disciples.
Very nice, very nice.
And all of them, most of them are Judas. All of them are Judas. Don't worry about Thomas.
We're back onto the YouTube and all of this stuff because PewDiePie is someone. This whole world fascinates me.
Okay.
The incels and the far right and all of these because you had the Christchurch massacre.
Ooh, yes.
It's not a manifesto. In his scribblings of bullshit, in one of it, he says subscribe to PewDiePie, or he says it during, because he recorded it, didn't he? I think he said it during his recording, actually, subscribe to PewDiePie. Now, was he doing that as a way of shit posting? Just let's chuck it all in and just get more attention on it? Or is there a real problem with YouTube, its people who are in it, and extremism?
I mean, I watch quite a bit of PewDiePie content, not like 24/7. I watch more political content, but every month or so I watch a video of his, like, because he does do some not good content. I will say that, right? Not all of us.
Someone's trying to make sure he doesn't get fucking abused online.
Or abused by you, more correctly speaking. But like, I will say, like, I will say he does not condone that type of, like, the Christchurch shooter.
No, because hasn't he used a lot of anti-Semitic stuff? Also used Nazi imagery and paid for people to hold up signs saying "Kill the Jews."
Oh, and he said the N-word as well.
Yeah,
he did say the N-word, and then
joke. It's only a joke.
And then he did sketches. I believe he also did sketches where he paid, like, was that some Indian actors or things like that to read a script? So he did do that, but
he's just a nice guy and doesn't actually believe in anything he says.
I think he's just like he's just basically a megahorn or something that people are using. Like, oh, go on, send me content, I'll read it out. Is that what's happening there?
He paid for people to hold up signs saying "Kill the Jews."
He actually paid for that.
Yeah.
How far ago was that?
I do not give a fuck if it was back in 1842, mate. This is not. This is the thing. This is why you shouldn't allow children power. Because he started doing all of this as a fucking child.
Yeah.
And he's never been. And this is the problem with fame as a whole. If you've never lived, then you just get fame, and you've never been told no for such a length of time. Because now he's fucking big deal.
He's in a consequence-free environment. That's what happens with everybody with fame at a young age. Yeah.
Like at the moment, like, well, I guess I could hold up a sign of "Kill the Jews" and
be fucking puncher,
be a fucking laugh between me and my friends. But once you go out of the circle of you and your friends and your immediate school, for example, then there's wider context and that sort of things like that. And then people on the internet start making, you say it, that must be condoning it.
That sounds like you're heading towards Count Dankula territory. We will not speak about him in case his followers tweet at me. No. How many followers does PewDiePie have?
He's got 100 million subscribers.
Okay, so chances are there are going to be a few bad eggs in there. It's like if someone on one manifesto says, "By the way, The Simpsons is really good." A bizarre thing to bring up in a manifesto, but maybe.
Well, no, because I would say they're completely different things. Because The Simpsons is something that is just written. It's there as a show.
It's an artifact. Yeah.
If you're going to go along and say, "Oh well, look at me going out and kicking all the homeless to death at the same time," Have I Got News for You is a top fucking political show. They go, "Well, Have I Got News for You has fuck all to do with me. I'm not part of it. I may watch it, but its content isn't there pushing anti-Semitism, isn't pushing Nazis, anything else." There's a reason why the far right watch this stuff. There's a reason why. There's a reason why he's withdrawn $50,000 because his fans said it's a conspiracy against the Jews. I'm not making this shit up.
No, you're
this
not.
Is an actual thing that's happened, and you can defend him all you fucking like. But there is a problem with YouTube and extremism. That's why you've got YouTube influencers, which is a fucking awful pissing thing to begin with. Why they pay children actors to come on to do their fucking skits and stuff, because they know they can get more money if it's more family friendly. The whole fucking thing of all of this, with Sargon of Akkad, with Count Dankula, with PewDiePie, with every knobhead, dickhead and shit stain that is fucking on YouTube at the moment, there is a mixture of paedophilia and fucking extremism going on. Just the other month, YouTube went to ban someone who spent years attacking, I think it's Carlos Mendez, mayor, something like that, attacking him, trolling him, calling him gay for fucking ages, attacking him because he is gay. They got rid of him, and then everyone started piling on. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. This is against freedoms. It's against freedoms. No, it has such a problem with extremism. Every form of extremism on YouTube, every fucking video pushes these ideas. This is what it's there for. They're making money off of all of this. No right-minded person is giving money for patrons to people who are putting up signs saying "kill the Jews."
But here's the thing, though. Like, just because it's a piece of content on YouTube as a platform, does that mean that A, YouTube endorses it, and B, that is something
you don't have to endorse it. No, you could have the Christchurch killing on there. YouTube aren't endorsing it, but they're allowing it to be seen.
Well, it's actually on Facebook Live.
Well,
it's not actually YouTube.
Okay, then let's use the example of all of the jihadi beheadings that are on fucking YouTube.
Yes,
they're not condoning it, but they're not stopping it.
Well, the thing is, how do they stop it? Because they got to have someone in there right away looking at this, and they've already got this massive team of people sifting through content who are coming away with severe mental health problems because they have to sift through this content.
Yes.
And you can't automatically put an algorithm in there that automatically filter it out, because then it ends up too strict. So you've got this really fine line.
Yeah, but then have it too strict.
You can
have it too strict. It's fucking YouTube. This isn't the be all and end all of free speech. It's fucking YouTube. But it's a company. It's making money off of you. You're the fucking product.
But the whole idea behind YouTube is that, like, it enables people like me and you and everybody else to just start an account and put content on there. Like, put any sort of whatever you decide is content. You can be a content. And if you want to keep that idea, so if you want to be strict, then how does that mean that every single time when someone applies for a YouTube account, they literally have to state who they are, what they actually want to put on there in the first place?
That would be an idea.
Like, like registration, like actually tied it to a real person.
Register is a interesting start, certainly.
Responsibility.
Because then you can get to hold people account.
Yeah,
you hold people accountable. Absolutely fine.
Just imagine the ISIS members trying to find their credit card details or a passport photo or something. Here's my driving license.
But see, now that isn't even that bad of an idea as actually needing to register, because you can have it as you can register with YouTube. And YouTube can keep your identity secret. Everything else, you can do it with Twitter, Facebook. If you want to be an anonymous person, then you can be an anonymous person, but they know. So if you are doing something illegal, if you are doing something wrong, they have your information. Go, well, there you go, done. So I mean, the issue comes because there is the other side to it that I do agree. Giving these fuckers any more power, I don't want. I do not want that, and we are working between freedoms versus security to a point. And I would always head towards freedom, but YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you have to understand these aren't the bastions of free speech.
No.
They are companies that are using the hate to make money. And I do not think that you should be allowed to use hate to make money.
No, I agree with that. And in a way, that's why advertisers are pulling ads from, like, a lot of the censorship that's currently removing of content or demonetization is actually driven by advertisers, not driven by the platform themselves.
But that's only half the solution. The other half is getting rid of the content. But yeah, demonetizing it is a good start. It is a good start, but the content's still there, to be influencing, if you will.
This is the thing. I mean, they're called influencers, and although I hate the fucking term, they're called that for a reason. There's the same with people who argue that advertising doesn't work. Advertising does work. If it didn't work, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean,
these people do influence. This is it. We do not. These are the heroes of today. Your PewDiePie, your fucking Sargons, and all of these. These are the people that people watch. They get their opinions from, And so there has to be some form of accountability. And if you are pushing hate, we need to do something about the rise of the far right.
See, I think, like, this is what my take off it is, that you might have 100-something million subscribers to your content. That doesn't mean, because the way that I see the YouTube, the whole platform, the whole online platform, is not like one thing. Like, just because PewDiePie is literally the biggest stream on YouTube, doesn't mean that 100 million people will just tune in Alex Jones style, saying just listen to every single word he says and take it as gospel. I mean, there will be, don't get me wrong, there will be, but I don't believe, because like I could subscribe to Sargon and and BBC News Channel or whatever. Like, that just subscribing doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, but, I mean, you're looking at anecdotal more than anything, because you're saying, well, I wouldn't do it. That means, I mean, hell, I wouldn't listen to anyone else. If I could watch thousands of everything, I wouldn't do it, but that's purely anecdotal.
Yeah,
I can't talk on behalf of humanity where you do see things changing.
But then you're setting a policy potentially based on, perception as well.
Perception. Far right is going up. These are connections to it. He may be the Christchurch shooter may be shit posting. He may just be saying, "Oh yeah, we'll chuck it in." They won't know. Oh yeah, it's a bit of laugh. He may not be. You're guessing, and I'm guessing as to what he's doing. So instead of going, they were probably shit posting, you may just have to take something like that. If they say subscribe to PewDiePie after he's killed fucking 20, 30 people, we may have to not look at it, he's probably shit posting. With something like that, you can't say probably. You can't say, well, he could be, maybe, ifs, buts. You have to take it as a real issue.
It is a real issue, and I'm not denying, especially with the Christchurch shooter, but at the same time, it's like, I just don't see how that connects back to PewDiePie at all, because just because someone mentioned the fact that, well, subscribe to PewDiePie, because how that context of that piece of quote come from was basically because he was having like a war between T-Pain, because I think
T-Pain,
is that not T-Pain, that Indian music channel?
Oh, yeah, it's T-Pain's not an Indian music channel.
No, not I forgot the exact name to it, because they were having because PewDiePie has around 100 million subscribers, but so did that channel as well. So they were having like a competition. So that is where the origin of the phrase "subscribe to PewDiePie" actually came from. Because
so it's more of a meme than an actual.
So he's been saying it throughout every single piece of content, whether you like that content or not. But he's been basically saying it, and then a lot.
I mean, everyone says fucking subscribe. That's like the fuclike motto of YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right with the whole idea that like him holding up a sign of like kill the Jews, and whether that's suitable content or not. But I think it's a bit of a far leap to saying, well, the Christchurch shooter.
So you're fine with the kill the Jews thing?
Well, no. Me personally, no.
But you're fine with him doing it, and you think that should be allowed.
I don't know what that piece of it might be part of a sketch or ill-conceived sketch, but is that, well, I need to see the content.
I assume it's been taken down. Yeah. I assume he took it down, because this is the thing, they do something awful, they take it down, then they issue an apology, and then everything's fucking fine.
Because I will criticize PewDiePie for hiring basically actors that's from either, I forgot where exactly, is that India or African actors basically playing funny skits because it's funny and he can pay for it and make it happen. I think that's exploitative. From that sense, why don't you just pay actors like me and Will to do shits? Because you can. You can, but don't mind me saying, you are using, you are kind of black-facing or yellow-facing or brown-facing your content because just for the sake of comedy.
So that's not good. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Kill the Jews, fine.
As I said, I have no idea what the Kill the Jews content was.
But it was just a skit. From what I read, he just had people hold up the signs. It wasn't a skit. It was a part in something. I may be wrong, but this is how I read it.
So basically, he's dressing up as a Nazi in the middle of a cocktail party. That sort of context.
Yeah. I think there's dressing up as a Nazi because people go, oh, isn't it funny? Like, oh, I'm so bad. And kill the Jews is like, no, that's outright.
Yeah, that is outright anti-Semitism.
And with this, I mean, with all of these people, with Count Dankula, with all of these things, one of the things that we're doing is we're allowing them to just go, oh yeah, it's comedy. Like, show me an example of you being a fucking stand-up, mate. None of these people are comedians. They're not. They're not comedians. Like me on stage with a microphone, an audience, and me doing something, and me saying something that bit au fait or everything else, a little bit across the bone, something like that. I'll understand why I can argue with saying it's just a joke, because I am literally in a place that is just a fucking joke. Like, I'm here to tell jokes. This isn't a TED Talk. This isn't anything else. I'm doing a comedy show. Like, if you're a fucking streamer, like, what are you known for? I stream things, and then I stream video games, and then I occasionally debate people about things. At the same time, I do some fantastic material about how we should kill all the Jews. Like, why are they able to think, like, I get innocent until proven guilty, but that is in a court of law. That's it. No, innocent until proven guilty means fuck all in real world. It means nothing. Innocent until proven guilty is only for being in a court of law. Now you're asking me to listen to this shit stain and take him at his word. I'm not taking him as his word. Everyone who goes along and says, "Oh, it's just a joke. I didn't mean anything by it." Like, you're expecting me to trust him. No, I'm not going to fucking trust him.
I'm not asking you to trust him. I'm saying that, like, you know, I say content should be judged on what it is and what like, you know.
Content is simply judged at the moment by what they say the content is.
No, I will view that particular piece of content and then I will make whatever judgment it is. But that's only my judgment. Like, you know, I'm not saying you should make that same judgment.
I think it's a cunt, mate.
Yeah, and you decide to hold that opinion. That's fine.
I'm not going to hold that opinion. I'm going to use facts of things like him not giving $50,000 to an anti-Semitic thing because all of his supporters turned around and said that it was a Jewish conspiracy, and question that maybe he has some anti-Semitic followers. Of course, not 100 million, because there isn't 100 million anti-Semitic people. There fucking could be. But I'm going to say that YouTube pushes hate. I mean, I'm on here, and I am a hateful man.
Maybe in a passive stance, not actively, but they're still responsible.
Yes,
but yeah.
You can say YouTube pushes like product placement and advertising more valid than hate by itself. I think it does push hate by passively pushing hate or de factoly pushing hate. Is not
allowing hate. Allowing hate. I think
like those little ads that pops out in video.
Putting oxygen to hate, letting it rise.
There we go. Providing oxygen to hate.
Enabling would be the word I'm probably looking for, because things that YouTube definitely will be pushing are those whatever little ads that comes on underneath the videos, like, you know, sunglasses, for example. I've been watching fucking loads of sunglasses ad for some reason.
What is it with these sunglasses adverts? Like, we have sunglasses. We're fine.
I think it's just understanding that, like, the algorithm just understand, while you're in Britain, it's good weather at the moment, it's summer over there, then let's push some sunglasses adverts.
Stupid as shit. Like, you're in England, you must need sunglasses. Oh yeah, mate.
Like, it's weird because, like, you know, I'm fascinated by YouTube to a certain extent, because if you actually have VPN, like when you travel, for example, you watch your video. Like, I consume a lot of like gaming content, especially on Overwatch and things like that. So I watch a lot of Overwatch video, and usually it's English-based content, English, American, British-based content, generally speaking. But if you actually go to, say, like, I was in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And, like, just transiting just on the internet and things like that. And YouTube recognizes that you're in Abu Dhabi and will play ads in Arabic. Even though it's in English, like, the YouTube clip is in English, but everything is still very much an Anglo-American base. They play ads in Arabic because YouTube knows that, oh, okay, you are in that particular region, and then we will push whatever product they decided that is suitable in that particular region. So if you go to Japan, you could see an ad for a Japanese McDonald's, for example, because fast food is quite big over there, and they advertise. And then it's like, and you can argue that is what YouTube is about, like, you know, pushing advertisement and product placement. That is, like, you know, that is definitely what YouTube is doing. I will agree with that. Hate, yeah, okay, incidental, but
I mean, I just question what more needs to happen before everyone realizes that the likes of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they've all helped to push conspiracies and hate. It's all they've done. It's like arguing that Facebook hasn't helped with the rise of anti-vaccination. Like, yes, it has.
Yeah.
Of course it has.
Yeah.
But you can't say that hasn't. Or you can't say that the rise of anti-vaccinations and Facebook, like, yeah, that's a thing, but the rise of the far right on YouTube isn't.
But who then adjudicates, like, you know, a piece? So like if in a conventional newspaper perspective, you have the editors. Like, you know, I could come in, mainly freelance nowadays. I could come in and say, I have this commentary piece and things like that, and then the op-ed would just go, well, this paragraph needs to go, this face needs to go.
You just need fact checkers. You need, and that's it, unfortunately. Because I mean, in the end, right, you cannot allow too much regulation into these things, because it will end up stopping. Like Twitter have an algorithm that stops and bans all extremist or fundamentalist Islam stuff, but it can't do it for the far right, where it just picks words and everything and gets rid of. It can't do it for the far right, because if it does it for the far right, then there's a chance that it will
ban Daily Mail, for example.
Well, ban the Daily Mail. A number of Republican congressmen, everything else. This is why they can't do it, because this is what we see. The far right is growing. White supremacy is on the rise, and to a point where Twitter has shown that it can't use the same algorithm that it uses to stop Islamic extremists, because it's too much in common parlance in the fucking Western world with white people.
It is interesting, and we're having this conversation because I'm pretty sure, like, you know, even though we are disagreeing on the stance of YouTube at the moment, like, you know, I'm pretty sure someone on the far right was saying that they are being impeded editorially by YouTube, because, like, YouTube is too woke and potentially like, you know, they are censorship.
I think they can suck their own cock.
Well, I'm agreeing with that, because from their perspective, we are the left. You know, everyone in this room is the left.
I don't give a fuck about their perspective. Stop trying to make them seem like they're good fucking people. Their opinion isn't the same as everyone else's. You go along killing fucking people, marching along, being racist. You don't get a fucking opinion. That's why we have laws. If you're there killing, going into synagogues and blowing people up, your opinion that does not have the same validity as mine. Stop trying to make them seem like they're absolutely. I mean, they've got some valid points. You know, sometimes the Jews are bad. Stop fucking siding with them. There isn't a white genocide going on. If there is, the only thing that comes close to a white genocide is if you put a comma in between the two words, white genocide, because that's the history.
Can I just say the whole concept of white person and black person and Asian person is a very, very vague concept in a way?
I mean, it's got nothing to do.
Like technically, I consider myself as a white person. I do, because I live that sort of lifestyle. I have that sort of value system. Just because I'm ethnically from a different DNA doesn't actually mean, you know, I have more common with you guys than the guys that's protesting in Hong Kong.
You've got nothing in common with me.
I'm fucking on your podcast, man. It's like,
you're the only person who's been on twice as well.
I'm not fucking on your podcast.
I don't know what to say about all that.
Like you know, I see myself, because, like, you know, people protest in Hong Kong. I got a cousin that's very, very anti-communism at the moment in Hong Kong, and you know, I wish I am closer to them. But don't mind me saying, my lifestyle for the past 20 years has pretty much been consuming YouTube, Netflix, earn a stable Western job in a stable Western corporate environment. Then I have privilege.
That's less about racial background, more about just your general. What's the word for it? Would you say? What would you say?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Basically, it's nothing to do with racial background. It's more like upbringing and like environment.
Yeah,
the products of your environment. Yeah. Because it's westernized.
Yeah, I've been westernized, and I don't think I enjoy privilege. Let's be very blunt. I enjoy privilege. I'm not under threat by a external regime that can come and claim every single part of my life.
Give it time. Give it time.
You keep empowering PewDiePie by watching him. Maybe.
I'm talking about fucking Operation Yellowhammer.
Oh, are we going on to that?
How long have we been going before we even go on Brexit?
We've only got like 5 minutes.
We have not talked about Brexit.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly happy that we haven't spoken about it.
This is amazing.
So I think we're going to spend more time talking about it than the actual government has. Jesus fucking Christ!
Right, so let's
5 minutes on Yellowhammer.
How are we going to do this?
5 minutes on Brexit.
5 minutes on Brexit.
5 minutes on
it's
Brexit.
All fuck. We're all fuck.
Yeah, pretty
We're
much.
all screw.
Yep.
Britain finish.
Yep.
No more United Kingdom.
Yeah.
So this week, as we know, Operation Yellowhammer was released.
Mm-hmm.
We also suspended Parliament, which was very nice. Now, the reason it was released is because MPs won a vote.
Yep.
Because Boris Johnson cannot win a vote. Beautiful. Boris Johnson is still yet to win a vote. It's amazing. Even when trying to fucking screw himself over, he still loses.
Didn't it went from a working majority of 2 to a minus 47 in the parliament?
I think 45, but yes.
I don't know how he's limping along, because obviously we're in a bit of a crappy position where we can't really squeeze in an election unless it's an emergency.
That is the same selection criteria to the England cricket team. You wonder why those people are still in there. That's because there's no one better to replace them. There's no one better to replace them.
That's sad.
It's not because you want them, because no one wants to step up.
But this is it. We're not going to get an election before leaving, and we shouldn't do either.
No,
this one thing. One of the things that Corbyn has actually done well is stuck to the guns of getting an extension first.
Yeah.
Now, whether
absolutely.
or not Boris Johnson will actually go and ask for an extension, there's a potential that he won't.
Well,
but
not only that, Macron's vetoed it. Macron's planning to veto the extension, isn't he?
That's only a negotiation.
Yeah.
That's soundbite.
That is pure soundbite. If they're saying we want an extension for an election, they'll do it.
Yeah,
because they definitely don't. They want a better parliament in, don't they? Yeah.
Because you do have to be cynical, because the EU is very good at kicking the can down the road. They are masters at kicking the can down the road.
I don't know that phrase.
Okay, basically it's kicking it to the long grass. So if you've got something that's a problem now, think about it in 18 months' time.
Kicking can down the road is, instead of picking it up and putting it in the bin, you just kick it to the next can.
So it's the opposite of nipping it in the bud.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh god.
We'll do it later.
They're the master.
We'll do it later.
The EU is a master at that. They've been doing policy-wise. That's what they've been doing with a lot of the Greek credit crisis.
Oh, the Greek. Don't get me started on the Greek
that
stuff.
Sort of thing, like Italy, for example, with the the budget responsibility. Poland, for example, with the whole sort of
I would argue that those countries still have a lot of the issue there, though, because when Italy, especially with the budget going along and going, right, okay, this is the budget that we want, and there you go, well, no, that's not going to happen, and they go, okay, we're standing up to them. Except we're not going to stand up to them.
We're not going to stand up to them. Because they're saying they're doing something. That's fine.
Yeah,
we wouldn't look at it in another 2 years because that's another 2 years problem. That's EU for you right there.
But we're currently going to court to get the court to write the letter for the extension if Boris Johnson decides to not listen to the law. Also, with the release of Operation Yellowhammer, that was because of a MPs won a vote to get that released.
Mm-hmm.
They also, on the same day, won another vote to get the communications for
Dominic Cummings and
Dominic
all the
Cummings
advisors.
and all the advisors for their WhatsApp and everything communications about proroguing to find out when they did know about it, what was the reason for it, and everything else. They haven't done that though. They haven't released
they have
that. Now, I assume everyone's had a look over Operation Yellowhammer.
Yeah,
Yep, I did.
What? Why? Just.
Mostly out of curiosity and the fact there was a buzz going on. I say there's a buzz. It's a very.
What's our thoughts on it?
I'm not surprised.
No positives. There are
Yeah,
absolutely no positives
positive.
whatsoever in this bloody document.
I mean,
it really hammers home the Remain side where we said, oh, there are positives. Leave say there are positives leaving the EU, and then there's nothing. There's this airy fairiness about it. And here is a document that says it will be bad if we leave the EU without a deal.
I mean, this is like, this is essentially confirming what people have been saying, Project Fear. Like, a lot of people saying, oh, Project Fear. No, it's now an official government document.
Yeah.
It is now I wouldn't say go as policy. This is what they think. One of the things about Yellowhammer is that, like, because when Michael Gove saying reasonable worst case, I think that's the term that he uses. Like in the August leak to the
and it hasn't changed.
It's actually a base scenario.
Yes.
It's a baseline.
Like one of the only things that has changed between the leak in August and what we received the other day was they just changed base to worst. Okay.
There's another piece of document called Operation Black Swan.
Yes.
And what Operation Black Swan is, that is literally the apocalyptic scenario. Because Yellowhammer is a baseline. It's basically what they think would happen. Black Swan, from what I understand, which is not being released, and the MP hasn't asked for it to be released because technically it's still a secret we still like internal confidential document in the White Hall. That is actually policy to set out, okay, if things does happen, like the fuel shortage does happen, the whole country goes to riot, how we deal with it, the whole concept of going to martial law, how many troops you would need on the street, what they need to do, that sort of policy statement. And if food does become a shortage and things like that, how are we going to ration it? Medicine, for example, how we going to bring
pets
to
livestock.
Like that
will Bob Geldof be available to do a concert?
What does Prince Andrew What should we say next time when someone find out about Prince Andrew and his activities?
We're running out of apocalyptic things, but we maybe will find out that Prince Andrew is a fucking paedophile.
Because here's the thing about proroguing the Parliament. Because bring it back up to speed. If no one's up to speed, I'm sure we all are in the room. So the Scottish court has ruled illegal. The full bench of the Scottish court has ruled illegal, which is still not the end of the road because Supreme Court is going to rule on it on Tuesday.
Yeah, but that could take a couple of days because
they've
now got 11 judges is going to be spoken in front of.
And that would be a very much like each justice will have their own opinion because it's an interpretation of legal law anyway. I think the release, I'm hoping at least anyway, I'm not a legal expert, but I'm hoping and this strengthened the case why prorogation is illegal. Because right now, it's such an important piece of document has been released, Operation Yellowhammer. That's been released now, as one of the last act of prorogation. Obviously, now we need to question, how does the government get held account? Because this is a serious scenario that could happen 1st of October. Prime ministers and ministers should be dragged in front of panels and committees, sitting committees.
They should be dragged in front of stocks.
Stockade and that sort of things, and just be saying, why are you how are you allowing this to happen?
I mean, Operation Yellowhammer is also what Boris Johnson causes abortions.
But here's the thing, the Parliament is prorogued at the moment. There's no possibility of that being addressed.
No.
So, you can argue that, if I'm sitting as a judge, if I have saying, the government saying, oh, this is standard procedures, we are proroguing Parliament for 5 weeks as to allow for the Queen's speech, and then all of a sudden now this policy comes in, and then you say, well, okay, it's not being debated at the moment, from the face of it, I would say you're proroguing Parliament so that you stop this sort of things from happening, from Parliament scrutinising this particular piece of policy.
I mean, the reason that they say it's normal and everything is because their argument for 5 weeks is that we would be going on the party conference season.
Yeah.
But not going into the party conference season, or proroguing, means that our MPs can't vote to not do that.
But a recess, which is usually what happens.
Yes, it doesn't stop everything from sitting.
Number one, and number two, the MP has the power to suspend a recess. They can all
that's what I said. They would have voted for it to not happen.
Yeah, exactly. Where prorogation doesn't stop, you can't do anything about it.
Right. Well, we've run out of time.
Fuck, we can do episode 2 this week.
Final things. Do you have anything to plug? If you do, look in the camera, plug it.
Please check out my Gaming for Laughs podcast. Me and other comedians playing video games. Check out, just search Gaming for Laughs on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. And if you're free on Wednesday and Saturday nights, come down to Comedy Cabin in Hoxton.
Yeah.
Yourself?
No,
nothing?
not really.
Cool. Okay, final piece of news from me that we haven't got round to. NHS Hospital Trust will have to pay up to an extra £55 billion in payments by the time of the last PFI contract, which is going to end at 2050. You've also got a study commissioned by the Labour Party have found that the French-style blanket cap on working hours was unrealistic and undesirable, and so they're looking potentially as a sector-by-sector cap approach instead. You got the Operation Yellowhammer shit, only 6 pages, really should be more, suggesting that they haven't done anything. There's a lot of actual facts on Operation Yellowhammer, just don't have the time to go through them all. Boris Johnson did a 14-minute People's Prime Minister's Questions on Facebook Live, making it the most pointless 14 minutes of the week. And Fireman Sam, he's been in the Lincolnshire Fire and Rescue Service. He's been axed with them saying that the TV character is outdated and no longer gave the message of what he wanted to achieve, replacing the Fireman Sam with fire extinguishers called Freddie, Filbert and Penelope. Of course, this does mean that there are a lot of people who are going, you can't do this, it's ridiculous, men are being treated badly, I'm now going to call myself an otter or whatever, I see myself as an otter and everything else. And if that is the case, and you do meet anyone who wants to suggest that they are now see themselves as just an apple, you're well within your right to put them down. So thanks to my guests and goodbye.